Steve Cutts, who I'll introduce in a minute, has a long career of leadership serving in international organisations, including as Assistant Secretary General in both the United Nations and Commonwealth. He has been the CEO of Medical Aid for Palestinians, MAP, since September 2024. MAP is our favoured charity. We do support it all the time, and we collect at the station where we're at Eastbourne station every Saturday between 11 and 1. So I'm very pleased that he's here. MAP has worked for more than 40 years amplifying Palestinian voices and advocating for their rights and dignity. MAP is a major provider of humanitarian aid, helping Palestinians access quality health care in Gaza, the West Bank and Lebanon, where Steve has just returned, I believe, a few days ago. Was it from Lebanon? So, everybody, could you give a very warm applause to Steve Cutts, CEO of MAP. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Nick. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for inviting me today. I think this has been amazing. It's always amazing to spend time with people who are so passionate about this horrendous injustice that we see before us. So thank you. I think it's also telling that we're celebrating, or we're commemorating the Nakba today, which reminds us that this did not start in October 23. It started decades and decades before. And neither has it ended or will it end with just a ceasefire. And of course we know what an Israeli ceasefire means anyway. It means breaches day after day after day. So I want to say a few words about MAP. MAP is a brilliant organisation. I want to thank you for supporting it. It really is worthwhile. It's a unique organisation. You know, it works across Gaza, the West Bank and Lebanon, providing vital support across a whole range of areas, to the disabled, to mothers and children, to rebuilding hospitals, to providing primary health care, to working with many groups, including around the areas of where women are being abused. We work with the women themselves and with the men as well to prevent the abuse. Many great things. We reached over 1 million Palestinians last year. Most of those are in Gaza, so it's incredible. But it's also unique because I might be a Brit standing here with an international background, but we are Palestinian-led. Every single person who works in Gaza, the West Bank and Lebanon in MAP are Palestinian, from the director downwards. And they're the people who decide what we do as an organisation. So it really is one of those incredible places to work. But it's not just the work we do on the ground. It's not just this direct support we give. We also are a powerful organisation that ensures that Palestinian voices are amplified and that we advocate on behalf of the Palestinian cause. So we speak out against the injustices that we see. We are bold. We speak out against the British government's complicity, indeed their participation, and the complicity of the media in this country as well. As you mentioned, I'm just back from Lebanon. I went south. It was the first time we as an organisation have gone south since the war began. Went south and I heard about the stories. And what Israel has been doing in the south of Lebanon is replaying the same playbook that it used in Gaza. It's laying waste to homes, to towns, to villages. And it doesn't care who it kills. It's indiscriminate. So this is the genocide being replayed. And again, it's about seizing land. But I also visited Beirut and spent time in Beirut. Now in Beirut I went to the refugee camps where the Palestinians denied their right of return for all of these decades are living. They're living in very difficult conditions, and the bombing has gone on all around the camps. Israel hasn't targeted the camps, they've targeted all of the areas where Hezbollah are. So there's been terror within the camps. Again, they've been terrorising civilian populations. I found there were children who I talked to within the camps who were saying, and they were giving speeches and they're being translated for me, that the only time they dream of being back on the beach, or they dream of being in the mountains, because they say they don't then have these huge explosions which just terrify them and terrify their parents. Within the camps there was no electricity for long periods of time during the war. The medication wasn't going in. They were effectively trapped there. Such a bad time, and the traumatic effects on the children is going to be very long lasting. Many of them are now bedwetting again, and they're just terrified. It's an awful thing to do to children, and it's happening again and again with Israel. But within Lebanon, we saw something else. We saw that this military machine of Israel's truly is one of the most sophisticated, clever machines ever. When it wants to take out an individual, it takes out an individual. When it wants to take out one building, it takes out one building. What we saw in Gaza wasn't required. It didn't need to devastate the population. It didn't need to obliterate the population and attack. They chose to indulge in collective punishment of the Palestinian people. They chose to target the doctors, the nurses, the hospitals, the journalists, the humanitarian workers. Now, those health workers and humanitarian workers, that's us. That's MAP. That's what we do. Our brave people, and they're unbelievably brave, do not deserve to be targeted in that way. So and what's happening now with MAP, with what is, I think, a very brave organisation. I've never felt so proud to work in an organisation as I do with MAP. What's happening with us now is Israel is trying very hard to close us down. You'll have seen that they are attempting to deregister all of the international organisations. They're attempting to deregister Oxfam, Save the Children, Christian Aid, ourselves, and many, many others. And this is for one reason only, and that is because we say what we see. And we criticise Israel, and we criticise the British government for its complicity. We bring out testimony about what's really going on. At a time when Israel is banning international journalists, we come out with the testimony, and Israel hates that. So they're trying very hard to close us down, but they're not succeeding. We are continuing to work, we're continuing to get people in, we're continuing to provide the assistance, we're continuing to get stuff in, despite all the attempts of Israel to stop us working. Thank you. So I'm really proud to be here today because I think what we're doing is incredible, but I want to say what you're doing is probably even more important, because for all of the work we do on the ground, all of the help we give to Palestinians, this has got to stop. The land seizures, the war crimes, the terrorising of civilians, the relentless ethnic cleansing of the land as Israel wants to enlarge, that has to stop. There must be justice, there must be accountability. Keir Starmer has allied himself and his government to the war crimes and the atrocities. He must be held accountable, so must all of the others who are complicit. And as you know, that means we have to keep marching. We have to keep protesting against all of the opposition we find, against all the attempts to smear us with anti-Semitism or to claim that somehow we are terrorising the Jewish population, which, as was said so eloquently a few minutes ago, is simply a lie. Because Israel must be stopped and we must not be silenced until Palestinian rights to health, dignity and self-determination are recognised. MAP will stay and we must stay marching. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! And what's